My name is Junjie Guo, and I'm an economist at the Center for Research on Wisconsin Economy in the Econ Department of UW-Madison. And this is joint work with Ananth Seshadri and Chris Tabor, both in the Econ Department. And the project is about jobs, skills, and the prison-to-work transition. So we thank the Thompson Center on Public Leadership for financial support, but the all views expressed here are ours. So the goal of this project is to identify which types of jobs and which types of skill investment in prisoners could reduce recidivism and lead to a successful prison-to-work transition. This is an extremely important question because of the high rate of recidivism in Wisconsin, which is the focus of this paper, but it's also true more generally in the US. So for example, among the about 8,500 individuals released from prison in Wisconsin in 2015, about 2,300 of them were actually readmitted to prison by 2016. This implies a recidivism rate of about 26%. Similarly, among the about 9,300 individuals admitted to prison in Wisconsin in 2016, about 2,400 of them, or 27%, were actually former inmates released no earlier than 2015, so released either in 2015 or 2016. So that is, over a quarter of former inmates were readmitted to prison within 1 year following release, and they contributed to over 1/4 of all admissions. So this high rate of recidivism naturally leads to high prison cost and low employment. And consequently, policies that could promote successful prison-to-work transitions are highly valuable because they could reduce recidivism and prison cost while increasing employment at the same time. In this paper, our analysis proceeds in 3 steps. In the first step, we will identify the industries whose jobs could lower recidivism the most. We'll do so by estimating the impact of industry-specific job opportunities on recidivism. And in the second step, we'll identify which types of jobs are found in those industries identified in the first step. So presumably, by placing former prisoners in those jobs, we could reduce recidivism considerably. And lastly, we'll discuss which types of skills are most important for those jobs identified in the second step. Boosting these skills among prisoners could presumably increase their chance of securing those jobs and achieving a successful prison-to-work transition. So this is the empirical specification we used in the first step. And where the equation is estimated using a sample of data where each observation is a cohort of inmates released from prison to parole in County C in quarter T. So here again, we're only focusing on Wisconsin, and due to the data limitation, we're focusing on the period between 1994 to 2007. And the dependent variable RCT is the number of individuals who were readmitted to prison within 1 year following release, among those released to County C in quarter T. And the K-independent variable HSK, that's the skill and industry-specific number of new hires in County C in quarter T. This is our measure of job opportunities available from industry K in County C in quarter T for those with skill S. And we'll be more specific about our skill measure, but generally it's whether a worker has any college education or not. So we include 2 vectors control variables. One is the vector XCT of the size and characteristic of the release cohort that includes the percentage Black, percentage Hispanic, the average age, percentage with a prior felony conviction, the sentence length, sentence served, as well as the percentage in each of the 3 crime categories, including drug, property, and violent. We also include a vector of ZCT of time-varying county characteristics that include the low skill and female shares of employment, the median household income, the size of the police force, and the unemployment rate. And we control for the time fixed effect, county fixed effect, and also a linear county-specific time trend. So the key parameter of interest is beta, which captures the impact of skill and industry-specific number of new hires on recidivism. So we estimate the three versions of the equation. In the first version, we just add one variable that captures all new hires in the county in the quarter. And that's listed in the first column here. We find that this variable that captures all new hires actually is positively correlated with recidivism, but the correlation is not significant. This is actually consistent with previous findings where there's no significant correlation between the general economic condition and the recidivism. So in the second column, we separate new hires into two groups based on the skill requirements. So one is high skill new hires that includes anyone with at least some college education, and the low skill new hires that includes anyone with no college education at all. So we find here the low skill new hires is negatively correlated with recidivism. But again, neither of the estimates are statistically significant. And lastly, in the third column, we further decompose low skill new hires by industry. Here, we find low skill new hires from construction has the negative impact on recidivism that is statistically significant. Actually, this is only one that has a statistically significant impact on recidivism. The estimates suggest that other things equal, an increase in low-skill construction new hires equivalent to 0.01% of a county's working age population, which for average county of about 50,000 individuals, that's like 5 more new hires. This could reduce recidivism by about 1%. We could also see this impact more directly by looking at this graph. So here we just plot the changes in recidivism from 95 to 2005 against the changes in the number of low-skill construction new hires for the 10 largest counties in Wisconsin. So clearly we can see there is a negative correlation. That is, counties that experienced a larger increases in the number of low-skill construction new hires, that's on the right end of this graph, those counties also experienced a larger decline in recidivism. So given that we find low-skill construction new hires have a significantly negative impact on recidivism, in our second step, we use the 2000 census to identify the most common occupations among low-skilled male workers in the construction industry in Wisconsin. That's listed in this table. So the number one job is carpenters, which represent about over 18% of this group. That is followed by construction laborers, which makes about like 14% of this group, and further followed by construction supervisors and operating engineers and so on. So for each of the occupation listed in this table, in the last column, we provide a link to the ONET database that details the skill requirement for that occupation. So ONET database is developed by the US Department of Labor, and it contains hundreds of standardized and occupation-specific descriptors on almost 1,000 occupations covering the entire US economy. So the descriptors are organized into 9 broad categories, including skills, abilities, work activities, work content, experience and education requirement, work values, job interests, knowledge, and work styles. The data have proven vital in helping people find the training and jobs they need. So for example, for construction carpenters, that's the number one job we found previously. The ONET lists 9 technological skills. One of them is computer-aided design software, and also 68 tools used. The most important ones are biscuit jointers, jacks, tape measures, and 33 types of knowledge and their importance. The most important one is knowledge of materials. So these 3 categories, broadly speaking, can be viewed as the vocational skills necessary for this occupation. And additionally, the ONET dataset also lists what we may refer to as soft skills. This includes 35 general skills, and 2 of the most important ones are active listening and the ability of giving full attention to what other people are saying. And also 16 useful worker characteristics, where the most important one is the attention to details. So pretty simply, by boosting these skills, we could increase the prisoner's chance of securing a job as a construction carpenter and helping them achieve a successful prison to work transition. So just to summarize briefly, in this paper, we find low-skilled construction jobs as the only ones that could reduce recidivism significantly. And this finding has at least 3 implications. Some of them we have already discussed about. So the first is that by placing former prisoners into construction jobs, we could reduce recidivism considerably. Secondly, boosting the skills required by low-skilled construction jobs among prisoners could increase their chance of securing those jobs and achieving a successful prison-to-work transition. Finally, by relaxing the mobility restrictions for individuals on parole supervision, we could potentially reduce recidivism. This is particularly important for jurisdictions without sufficient low-skilled construction job opportunities. So that's all I have for today, and you are welcome to read the paper for more details, and any comments are welcome. Thank you.